We'll go ahead and call the Longview Metropolitan Planning Organization Policy Board meeting to order at 10 a.m. Wednesday, August 22nd, 2018, City Council Chamber, 300 West Cotton Street in Longview, Texas. Number 2, Invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Mayor?
Okay. Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for giving us the physical ability to enjoy this day. And we thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve on this board. We ask that you guide our decisions this morning and help us make the best decisions we can possibly make for all the communities involved with this board. In Jesus Christ's name, our Lord, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mayor. This time, 3 on the agenda is citizen comment. Would anyone like to come forward and make a citizen's comment? If so, please come forward at this time and identify yourself for the record. Having none and seeing none, we'll move on to number 4, approval of the February 28, 2018 meeting minutes. Macie Wyers, Longview MPO. Macie.
Thank you, Judge Stout. Board members, prior to today's meeting, I sent out the minutes for our February policy board meeting. Are there any changes to the minutes as presented in your agenda packets?
Move to approve.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Number 5, and 1 abstention from Mayor. Number 5, approval of May 23rd, 2018 meeting minutes.
Thank you, Judge Stout. Again, the meeting minutes for our May policy board meeting were provided in your agenda packet sent out prior to today. Are there any changes to the minutes as presented?
Is there a motion to approve as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Number 6, approval of the revisions to the 18 and 19 Unified Planning Work Program. Macie?
Thank you, Judge Stout. This morning, I am proposing some minor revisions to our current work program. This is our Unified Planning Work Program. It outlines the transportation planning activities conducted by MPO staff over the course of 2 years. The current work program covers our current fiscal year, 2018, and the next fiscal year, 2019. So to give you some background on why I'm proposing some revisions is we basically just have an updated timeline on when we expect to have some of these transportation planning activities complete for long-range planning purposes. So this is going to affect Task 4 planning activities. This is our modeling, our travel demand model, our long-range transportation plan, which is our MTP, and that has a forecast year of 2045. It also includes an update to our thoroughfare plan. So what I'm asking the board to consider this morning is a transition of funding from the current fiscal year to the next fiscal year to support a realistic timeline of when we expect to secure a consultant for this work. This is going to affect subtask 4.2, which is our Metropolitan Transportation Plan. I am requesting that we move $47,000 from this fiscal year to the 2019 fiscal year. This also affects subtask 4.3. This is updating our thoroughfare plan. As you remember, this board approved our very first thoroughfare plan for the area in November of 2014. We will update it alongside our Metropolitan Transportation Plan. So I'm requesting that we shift $8,000 from the current fiscal year and put that into the 2019 fiscal year. In total, we'll be shifting $55,000 from this fiscal year to 2019. As a result, the revised Task 4 table will look as it's shown on the slides. We will have $27,000 for this task within our current fiscal year, and now we have $153,000 available in 2019. That completes my comments on the proposed revision to our Unified Planning Work Program. I would be happy to answer any questions or concerns at this time.
Any questions at this time? Where the changes been presented? Not, is there a motion to approve the revisions as presented?
Move to approve.
Do we have a motion
Second.
and a second? Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Number 7, approval of Transportation Policy Board Chairman to execute the TxDOT COL Longview MPO Agreement for Transportation Planning. Macie?
Thank you, Judge Stout. This morning, I am bringing to you our new planning agreement. This was executed 6 years ago in 2012, and it's required to be updated every 6 years. This is a planning agreement that is between the Longview MPO, TxDOT, and the City of Longview. The City of Longview serves as the Longview MPO's fiscal agent. This agreement expires September 30th of this year, so I'm bringing it to your attention today for you to consider for approval. If approved and if we execute it, it won't expire for 6 years. It'll expire in 2024. This planning agreement outlines the roles and responsibilities of all parties as it pertains to our short-range plan, our long-range plan, our work program, as well as some necessary administrative requirements. This planning agreement has gone through the City of Longview's legal department and has been accepted. So this morning, I'm asking for the board to consider approving our policy board chairman, Mayor Mack, to execute this agreement on behalf of the Longview MPO.
Any questions for Macie? If not, is there a motion to approve the transportation policy as presented?
I'll move to approve.
Do you have a motion
Second.
and a second? Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Number 8, presentation or approval of the travel demand model. Macie?
Thank you, Judge Stout. I will now invite our guest speaker, Andy Mullins, to come to the podium to present our travel demand model. Our travel demand model is a planning tool that we use to forecast traffic demand throughout our area. We use this to designate where we may need some increased capacity on our roadways. So Andy is here to provide some more information for us.
Thank you, Macie. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here representing on behalf of the Transportation Planning and Programming Division of TxDOT in Austin. We work as a support staff to them in developing these travel demand models. So I'm here presenting the results of this model update that was done in cooperation with the MPO and the districts here in the region. So my presentation is going to touch on these kind of issues. What is the model? How did we go about updating it? How well is it performing? It's a measure of how well it's replicating conditions so that we have confidence that we can then use it for modeling future conditions. And I'm going to present a small bit of information about what is it saying about those future conditions, and then what do we do? What are the next steps? What next? So what is the model? It's a planning tool that is used to estimate daily travel demand in the Gregg County and fringe areas around Gregg County. It's an alternate method to using just simple traffic projections where you take an existing count and assume some growth rate and just grow it out. It's more sensitive to changes in the nature of the area. It's used to plan and analyze regionally significant facilities and the supporting roads, to size and scope roadway improvements, evaluate the impact of demographic changes, evaluate the impact of changes to the roadway system. And they do, good practice dictates that these models be updated and checked against conditions every so often so that you have, again, confidence that you're working with good numbers. So how did we go about updating? Well, the way these models work, they take demographics, which is population, household, and employment information from the local area, information about the roadway system, along with information about trip making and travel characteristics that come from surveys of residents in the region. They're put into this model. We get traffic volume outputs, and we compare those to traffic counts. With regard to the update, the model up before this update was last done for the year 2007, in which we had traffic counts. So we put in 2007 inputs and get 2007 outputs. This update was about taking the most recent traffic counts available for the entire system, both on and off state system roadways, which is for the year 2013. We're switching out the demographics and the network for 2013, running the model again and comparing it to the traffic counts and see how well it's performing. So how well did it perform? That's called a validation. We check against the counts both on and off system. These tables give an indication by facility type and what we call area type, which is kind of a density measure of how well the model's matching observed data. That's the counted column, and the model column is what's coming out of the model. As these statistics show, regionally we're within 3% of the observed traffic conditions, so we feel like we're replicating observed conditions pretty well. So how do we use it for doing future analysis? Well, we decide on what years we want to analyze in the future. For this application, 2018 is treated as a future year because we don't have all the observed conditions yet for 2018. Since we're still in 2018, we apply the model and get traffic numbers out. This table is meant to give you just a general indication of the change that the model is forecasting between the year 2013, which is the base, and the forecast year, which is 2045. And so what happens at this point, we work with the MPO and reach agreement that the model is matching current conditions. The model is then used to, along with the intermediate and forecast year applications, to support the development of the MTP, evaluate improvements and deficiencies. It can also support alternatives analysis and corridor studies at smaller scale. And then TPP offers additional assistance to the MPOs and the districts on the use of this model through a manned stationed help desk in Austin, and through the work of the team lead at TPP in Austin, a lady by the name of Tammye Fontenot, who was the chief TPP lead staff person on this effort. And with that, I'll stop and take any questions or comments anyone has.
I have one. This is probably going to be a dumb question, but I noticed the population that you were dealing with in 2013 for the MPO is 161,000.
Yes, sir.
What area does that cover?
It's Gregg County plus sections of the adjoining counties. The model was expanded this most recent update to capture more area outside. And the MPO felt, and we concurred with that feeling, that to do a better job of capturing the needs for the area, we need to look into the periphery areas. Before, those were treated as just external travel that we can do less analysis of if they're not within the model.
I got you. So is it taking in part of Upshur County and part of Harrison, part
Yes,
of
sir.
Smith a little bit?
Yes,
maybe?
sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we need an action item on this, correct?
Yes.
We need a motion to approve the demand model that's just been presented. Is there a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
There is a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Number 9, staff comment. Macie, you have any, you and your staff, would you like to make a comment?
Thank you, Judge Stout. I would just like to point out that TxDOT held their second public meeting for State Highway 42 in July. This was a very successful meeting that they held to receive comments on the proposed widening of 42. So I just wanted to say thank you to TxDOT and staff who helped, who have been helping with that project, and provide an update on where they're at. So that's all I have.
Well, thank you. And also on behalf of the county, I'd like to thank TxDOT as well. You all just do an outstanding job for certainly Gregg County and the surrounding areas, and we thank you for that. I certainly do personally. So thank you. All right, any other comments? Is there a motion to adjourn? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Not a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.